Hello and welcome to another podcast episode of Kahawa na Gowi. Welcome to this podcast. My name is Gowi Odera, Marco Dinge, that's AKA. And on my right and my left, here is Wamwere Kimashia.
The talent.
AKA Msanii.
Msanii?
Msanii?
No.
I don't know.
Oh,
I feel
it's
like
just
it becomes
talent.
a little bit cheaper when you say
When I use
like,
that.
Yeah.
It's a euphemism, but we don't need...
Is that Kenyan?
All right, but welcome.
Thank you
The
very much.
talent artist, right? And the lovely, gorgeous Harriet.
As always, good to be here.
Yes, and if you're tuning in or you just happen to be on this, this is a podcast where we talk about issues that you wouldn't necessarily talk about in church, but need to have those conversations. And again, if you want to talk to an older person,
Slightly over 50 years.
yeah.
Where are those arrows?
This is the place to be able to do. So the questions you want to ask your mom or your dad as an adult, but you don't want to ask them.
You're afraid.
You are afraid.
You want the opinion.
Yes, you want the opinion,
So
and they're going to look at you and it's like,
What?
you should know that.
We can't be having this conversation.
Wangari, unafikiria hizo maneno.
Yes. Haven't I taught you better?
Yes.
So this is the place where you can't just like lift up your hand during a sermon and ask those questions. But this is the place where you'll be able to do that. And welcome you. So please take this moment, if you haven't, to subscribe. I never thought I'd ever be doing that, you know? Yeah, subscribe to this
Telling
channel.
people to subscribe. Karibu.
And follow.
Yes, and follow. And if you like what you see, just put that kidole and, you know,
And share it.
and share it with others. Kahawa na Gowi. I think today, just the feedback that we're beginning to get from the last show was they want to get to know me a bit better. Who are you? You know, there
When
was a
are you?
song by Gidi Gidi and Maji Maji. This was almost 20 years ago.
Yo.
Yeah.
You know how I relate to that song.
Okay, all right.
I remember.
The question was, who are you?
What are you?
Who the hell do you think? Okay, so this is now, yeah.
I might reveal my age if I say the next thing. But I remember that song
You
from
remember that song?
top 7 at
Eh.
7.
Top 7 at 7.
Kiss 100. It
Yes.
used to play like
Ding,
I would
ding,
always
ding,
wait for
ding,
it.
Ding, ding, ding,
That
ding, ding,
such a
ding.
long time
Ding,
ago.
ding, ding.
That one.
I am unbelievable. All right. So
Quite.
there's some people who might be doo-doo-doo. Just check it out, okay?
It
Check
But
out.
it's
should be
on
somewhere
TikTok now.
Yeah, it's on TikTok, yeah?
Yeah, it's getting popular on TikTok.
Wow. Guys are going back in time, eh?
They're going back. It's retro time
It's
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even the fashion and everything.
So anyway, feedback that we're getting, okay, online, on some of your comments is we want to get to know this guy Gowi. All right. So it's now your chance to ask on behalf of those guys. All right. These guys were who am I?
Your fans.
See my fans.
Ni mafans wako.
See my fans. Ni my fans.
Ni
Wanafaa
mafans
kuwa
wako.
mafans. Ni vile tu wakujui.
Eh,
Okay. So
But after this,
for what it is, yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they will.
So
Definitely.
you guys pretty much take over the show. All right. So let's go. All right. So
Have an
ask
intro.
questions. Okay. Ask questions. Let's go.
I was about to do like a whole. You're on the round table.
Who's gonna go
Please,
first? Who's gonna
Kimashia
go first?
Tony, please.
So how is life? Let's start. with
Really, Kimashia?
How is
How's
life?
life?
Yes.
That is such a loaded question.
No,
Be
but like
more
on the
specific.
51 side of life.
On the 51,
Oh,
yeah,
the
you know,
as you
us we don't know.
said.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, bro,
You're old. Just say.
How
just
is
don't want
it?
to offend you.
Just
You're
say
so
it.
best, but-
Get it off your chest. Just say it.
Yo, you know that's like half a century of living. How's life?
Existing.
Like,
Let me tell you one thing that happens when you get onto the 5th floor. you don't care jack what others think about you.
And your
It's
age.
so liberating right now. You know, when you say something,
And you stick by
and
it.
I stick by it. You know, this is that. And then, why was I taking so much time
To get to this
to
point.
get to this point? You know, you are caring about what others think about you, what they're going to say, and guys just don't give a yes about issues, right?
Yeah.
You know, you just see for guys get to see for who you are, and those who have known me have known me, and so yeah, so that's one of the things. It's very liberating, my brother. Very
So-
liberating.
So would you have? So this is what you tell your younger self, and to be specific, at what point would you tell yourself to be this?
All right, let me. It's actually that's a very interesting question. Would I tell my younger self this? No, I wouldn't tell my younger self this
Why?
because I think you also need to earn
The right.
the right to not care what other people think. And let me explain to you.
Yeah,
Yeah?
break that down.
I remember one time I went, this was back in the day. Harriet would remember these things. When I had my dreadlocks, you know, and I would dress. And even when I'd go for events, you know, I'd just go. And I remember one of my pastor colleagues, she was much older.
Much older.
Much older than I was, okay?
Wow.
To be very frank, Pastor B. Those of you guys who have been
Ah,
Pastor B.
yes.
Sixth floor.
Eh? Pastor B is almost there now, okay? And so she told me this, is that, Gowi, your deportment is how people look at you and all that. It's very, it's,
Kizungu mingi.
Kizungu mingi is very important to adding your credibility, okay? And she says, not many people know you, okay?
Yeah.
So we know you, Gowi, all right? We know you. But if you're meeting somebody for the first time, all right, you don't start at zero. You start at negative. So you have to prove people up until you reach zero.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you start climbing up to get to 100, to say 100 is the place.
Yeah.
You understand?
Wait, why do we start at negative?
All right? So imagine when I meet you for the first time,
Yeah.
we just meet you at zero. Then you tell me you're Wamweri, Kimasha,
The talent.
The
talent. Okay. So I start adding, you know, to that. I start adding to that. Okay. I start adding to that. But then for me, when I meet you
Yeah.
and my deportment, how I look, I'm already at negative. Okay.
So dressing.
So
how you
not
look.
just dressing, just my deportment, how I come across. But she says there's so much value in you, Gowi.
Yeah.
Why do you have to
Start at
work and
negative.
start at negative when you can
yeah.
already be here? Okay. I was like, dang, this is deep. Yes. Damn. Remember who said
That's
that?
Kevin Hart.
I was like, damn. She has a point. And so she says, in where you are at, Gowi, you don't need to prove anything.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do what you need to do. Okay?
Yeah.
And at least start at zero so that you can continue building up and all that. So you have to earn some credibility to reach there. Okay? So for me, I think that place came to me around 40.
Wow.
All right? Once I reached the fourth floor, I think I got there. So I started changing my dress. I started doing that. But now when I'm 50, all right, if I come dressed in a certain way, people don't look at me, okay, for where I'm dressed.
Yeah.
Gowi is already there. So they know what I'm
You're all about.
all about.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast is trying to be able to do. You want to be able to know about that. So when people, and here's another thing, I can't remember where we were. I think we were at a wedding, and you saw me all dressed up in a suit and tie. And just the way you're doing, yeah? You started
This.
laughing.
I was
Because
like, hiya.
you know I'm not a suit and tie kind of
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
All right? But it didn't take away from what it was. But from other guys who were in there, a suit and tie really needed to be there because many people didn't know me. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah. You have.
So how does it feel to be 51? I think it's good, liberating.
Liberating.
All right. Another thing about it is that I don't have the energy I used to have 20 years ago.
Oops.
Okay?
Are you saying this? Okay. Are you saying this in a? Is it a sad thing or is it
Yeah.
a?
No, this is just the reality
It's
of life.
just a thing.
Okay.
This is aging. It's a rite of passage.
Why?
I think we need to be able to recognize. I don't have that same energy that I had when I was then. And let me give you an example. You guys say, let's go for a gig, and guys, by 11 o'clock, I'm like, I'm done.
I need to be in my bed.
I'm done. I'm out. You know, you won't find me doing an all-nighter. Okay. And even when you're working, you won't find me working later at doing an all-nighter. Back then, 20 years ago, I could do it. And then go on with the same thing. You're awake watching basketball, NBA, all right? I'm like,
3 a.m.
what are you doing at 3 a.m. watching that thing? Just watch a rerun, you know? And you're like...
Can never be me.
It's not
So if
the
it was
same.
me to do that, I'd have to sleep
So that you can wake
so
up.
I can wake up at 3 o'clock and be able to do that, and I'll be fresh for that. So I don't have the energy. And that's the reality of aging. Yeah, it's a reality. This is something we just have to embrace.
And you've accepted it.
I've accepted it.
So this is advice to other.
One day you're going to die, and this is the process of doing it.
You have to start from
You
somewhere.
have to start from somewhere, you know, and part of it is just slowing down. And so, yeah. And then lastly,
Yeah.
and I think maybe this is something that I would tell my 20 something is find your passion as quick as it can. Because right now I have more time, I have less time count ahead of me than behind me. Now, I could live another 50 years if Jesus doesn't come back,
True,
okay?
true.
All right? But
in
the
this time-
chances of this time
Yeah.
that would happen,
He might,
okay?
yeah.
I'll be meeting my ancestors, you know?
Every single day it feels like a end time. application.
Exactly, right.
tomorrow.
So if Jesus doesn't come back, I don't have time on my side now, okay?
Yeah.
All right? And so every moment counts. I'll tell my 20-something-year-olds, make that time count. You don't always have that time. So by the time you're reaching where I am, there's much more you would have accomplished by the time you reach the 5th floor. How's life?
Pretty great.
All right.
Liberating.
Uh-huh.
Well, I love that you've talked about people finding their passions and investing in them when they're still young,
Yeah.
because they are more productive years, uko 20s and all that.
Yeah.
But Gowi, you've done so many things.
Yeah.
I have known you in so many different capacities.
Yes.
Pastor, boss, church planter, political aspirant, artist. League moja na Wamwere.
Couple, same.
Same was up.
No, you are talent.
Me, I'm talent.
Yes, me, I'm artist.
There's a difference.
Sunny. So I think my question would be,
Yeah.
knowing all that you know right now,
Yeah.
how would you have gone about finding your passions, honoring them, or in your 20s and 30s?
Don't feel guilty. I think for me, that's the thing. I felt like, man, should I just remain pastor? Or should I, because I love the theater arts, and being on stage and doing theater. That's just a big passion for me. But I think in my latter years, I've not had time for that. Yes, but I'm wondering if I had honed it in.
Because you're busier when you're older.
I'm busier, but there's some things that if I really honed in on that, I would have actually made time for it.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's not done, but I'm not sure if your regular director now is going to come and say, hey, Gowi, come and act, because they don't know me for that. Maybe about 5-10 years ago. I think my last production I did this is 2022. It was in 2014. That's the last stage production that I did.
Oh.
But
Yes.
never say never. There's so many Hollywood stars who started when they were in their 50s. And look, you're literally shooting a podcast right now. So.
Yes, but you see, I was feeling guilty about it. I was feeling guilty, but this is who God made me. God gave me multiple talents that I could be exploiting, but I felt that it was like a curse. You know that thing they say, the curse of the talented, the curse of the gifted. So I could act. And then there's the music side.
Yeah.
Okay? So I play the
rhythm
drums.
for me.
Yeah, I play the drums. And I also play the guitar. Do you know why I started learning how to play the guitar? I learned to play the guitar immediately after high school, okay? The greatest high school in the world.
Oh my gosh.
The Nairobi school.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? Pachia.
Utapigwa mawe na watu wa Alliance wako wapi?
Hapa I went to
Hey.
Alliance.
Wacha
Even in fact,
wapata
don't
hii
even say,
podcast.
I can't even have it come out of my ati ahu. It's Nairobi school. Anyway, but immediately after that, and do you know what my motivation to get this? Our sound guy Manasseh will laugh at this.
What was
Manasseh, it was to get the girls, man.
You know, I knew.
All right, you know, but I said, you know how to get the chords, okay? In playing guitar, they're what you call open chords, and then they play bar chords, okay? So this is bar chords. When you see somebody doing like this, it's a bar chord, and then when finger this is an open chords, okay? So my brother could play the guitar, all right? So I told him, teach me. So he started teaching me. And I said, what's that chord? He said, this is a bar chord. What is it? So it is simpler to play a bar chord than an open chord. Because a bar chord is a shortcut. I told him, show me the shortcut. So I started doing that. And the first thing in churches do was you had to start leading what?
Worship.
Choruses. So there was a song called I'll Do My Best, My Very Best. Oh, I'll do my best for you. I had to learn that song. And I started learning. I could play. And they said, Gowi, come and play. I'm like, the girls love me. Finally I've arrived.
Work smarter, guys, not harder.
But you see, that acumen could have been invested on.
Yeah.
I didn't go on. I can still fool around on the guitar.
Yeah.
But I've stunted my...
I strongly believe, you know, having had that,
there are no more girls to impress. I'm married. If I want to impress girls, you guys would be concerned about me.
yes,
You'll be very concerned.
and it's very consistent with the Christian community because
Fungua roho.
because me,
Been there, done that,
as
or
I
been there,
sit here,
seen that.
I know Manasseh is going to challenge this, but I can actually play guitar. And one of the reasons
You can play guitar.
was that reason. That's
So
very
when the
reason.
same WhatsApp group.
I'm just like, hey, this thing was a... me when I entered, I was like, they said, so I'm just a newbie in church. And I'm like, what do you mean you're Christian and you can't play guitar? I was like,
What?
I'm failing at Christianity already. I just got saved. Okay, nilikuwa hapo next.
Yeah.
I think nilikuwa nasumbua kina Noel. Nashinda tu nimewaangalia na watch like at home I go practice. So I understand you with that.
You do, yeah?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, Harriet, if I've answered your question in itself, but I think one of the things I would be is don't feel guilty of what I've been blessed with. I think I believe the lie that you are cursed if you have too many talents. I think it's just embrace the moment and now and hone in on them. The moment and time will begin to define what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, you have, but also maybe to honor those people who are sort of in a transition.
Yeah.
Maybe because of, you did art, music, all that, and then you went into politics.
Yeah.
So maybe there could be people watching and they're sort of in that kind of transition and they're wondering,
Form ni gani?
before, like am I
what was
the
going
normal?
on?
Like, what is this? So maybe what would you affirm such people who are multi-potentialites and they're in those two spaces where they're still trying to figure things out and honoring those different...
Okay.
And even just how you got into that.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we go on,
Yeah.
if you've just tuned in and just captured this thing, this is Kahawa na Gowi. This is a podcast where we have conversations that you wouldn't necessarily have them in church, but need to have them in church. Or if you want to have a conversation with your dad, your mom, but you feel they'll judge you. They're like, Neke.
Give us those comments. We will ask on your behalf.
This is the place to be able to have them. Gowi Makodinga is my name. Kahawa na Gowi is the podcast.
Or Uncle Gowi.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Uncle Gowi. I have to embrace that.
You need to,
Yes.
Yeah.
Pale umefika in life.
51 and all.
Hizo miaka.
So to answer your question, Harriet, I think for me the thing that I try to do is is where does the shoe pinch? And if there's a place that I think that this shoe has pinched me was ever since I was at Gowi. And I grew up in a context where the environment in my upbringing, and maybe as you continue hearing this, is that my father was part of the initial liberation of Kenya. And so he was a part of the Tom Mboya airlift generation that were being educated in the West so that they can come and take over the bureaucracy after we attained our independence.
Miss Kezo.
And so he was there. And my dad was a DO.
That's some serious history.
Yes.
That's
yes,
not
yes.
just
By the way.
basic.
Yes. And so when we got our independence, my dad was the communications officer for Daniel Arap Moi,
What?
who was what we call the equivalent of governors for Rift Valley province. So all the way from Turkana mpaka Kajiado. Okay, all those counties over there, Arap Moi was the governor for that. My dad was the communications person. He was assigned there. He was a DO, then brought over there.
This is back then when we had
then,
provinces
instead of
not counties.
counties, right? Yeah.
And there were 8.
Yeah, there were
For
eight
some of
that-
you over there. Mainly, a few things.
Genius.
and so my dad was there. He was part and parcel of that. Fell out with the government. He ended up being arrested, put into detention. Those days, if the government didn't like you, either put you in prison or you disappear.
Yeah.
So
I don't think people fathom or understand what that means.
yes,
And in a literal sense,
Yeah.
you cease to exist.
you cease to
and,
you disappear.
and that's the story, and nothing can be done about it.
So after my dad got out of prison, a number of months later, I was.
This is such a twist.
Yes. So I'm a circumstance of the oppressive Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta government. This. So I was born into that. I was born into the resistance to the corruption, the failure of the Kenyan project at that time. And my father was part and parcel of that. And so I would see where the shoe would pinch. My father was those people who didn't necessarily fear to do that. And as I've grown up, I've also seen that what is my generation doing? What are we doing now for our generation? They did for that. What? And so for me, the shoe continues to pinch.
Yeah.
And in any African country, you begin to see that. And I said, not that politics is the answer. I just needed to be able to bring a new politics. And I didn't get through. I didn't persuade people enough. I think there are other things that go into politics. I was naive at that time, but I did go into that. Politics is still in my blood. I still part and parcel of that, and I'll continue to engage politically. I was in the back end with this past elections. I wasn't up in the front, but I engaged in the background in that because I feel there are places that we need to be able to be engaged. Yeah. I don't know if I've answered your question on that one.
That's some serious history.
Yeah.
That's some very serious history.
Yeah, maybe on another podcast we could really just talk about it.
Go
delve
into it.
that. Yeah.
Because there's a lot to actually,
Yeah.
I have enough questions for that.
Mm-hmm.
So having gone through that,
Yeah.
the question is how does it make you feel? Like, how does it influence every other thing, how you view this country? Because yours is a very direct country connection.
I view this, and use it, when you go to those restaurants, there's a difference between tomato sauce and ketchup.
Yes.
Okay? I'm a ketchup guy.
Hey.
Tomato sauce is like
Nyawale wase.
jelly, all that. When we have ketchup,
Easy.
okay? But here's the thing. If you ever have a brand new ketchup bottle, okay, and you try to get it out, it's just hard, okay?
Yeah.
And when I was awake in physics class, okay?
Very honest confession.
Yes, when I was awake in physics, they would tell me about the equal pressure and all that. So you have to
Hit it from the back.
from the back. That's at least what you do. But actually what people say, you just need to tilt it at a certain place
And it will flow.
and it will flow, okay? But it's because of that bottleneck, all right? It's because of that bottleneck. I'm like, why don't they just make those bottles just open and
A
just
full cylinder.
yeah,
You just
so
pour.
you just pour. Okay, but I see Kenya as that bottleneck. They're just bottlenecks. So there's all this potential for the artists and talent, you know,
Ndio
and the
sisi.
creative arts in media, business enterprise, in academia, in the sciences, in all these different sectors of society. And then right there at that bottleneck is politics.
That is
Okay, that is keeping this whole potential
choking
inside
Literally,
here,
yeah.
you know. And so what you need to do is just open that space and widen that space for this full potential to come
be
out. So when you're asking me
explored,
that's how I see, and I think my role, and I see my role, and hopefully people who have the guts and the balls to do what I'm doing is just, you know, get into that space. It's a murky space, but it's a highly contested space. But I think there's a place for some people to do what that needs to be done. And I think that's a place where you can do it. Yeah.
So unasema ni kwe governor in short.
Come on,
Governor wa talent.
Governor talents, eh? Yeah.
There's space for you. All right. So we've talked governance, all that. I think I want to ask, or at least introduce this side of you that I know.
Yeah.
Parents, family, and you're pretty passionate about that. Youth, dating, and you've preached sermons about that. But I have a question, not from me.
You're asking for a friend.
You're
Asking for friends.
Wonderful disclaimer.
Asking
there.
for very many friends. So
Some
Kivasha
of them
and
are
I,
not even here.
they're not even here, but they're gonna be watching.
Yeah.
So, and they're also your friends, Kivasha. They're our mutual friends. They're our same age, also single, yet to be married. And there's this whole issue of, you know, family. Well, African family, at least, we have a history of polygamy and all that. But we also have a new breed of families coming up, blended families, all that. And a bone of contention, or something I've heard from my friends.
Again, not you.
Again, not her, not me. Uncle Gowi, I'm 31, getting ready to be married, hoping to get married. My options, of course, there are those I want, what God has for me, all that. But there's also something that's very peculiar. Of course, I cannot ask my mom or my dad, but I can ask you. So Uncle Gowi, if I'm Mubaba.
I don't know. Ati?
If I'm Mubaba,
Are you scared of this question that's coming?
I know.
Mubaba.
I'm Mubaba.
Yes.
And
Mubaba.
that's to mean someone who's a bit older, way older than my...
Mubaba is not a bit. This is much older.
Yes.
Basically,
Older than my...
your peer.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. That's why you're the right person to
Don't
ask.
worry, there.
Maybe just slightly less older than you. Kidogo. But they're probably divorced, all that. And I feel like there's a generation my age, where such illicit relationships are happening. How, I would want your voice as a father and uncle. What would you say to the Mubaba and to the young girls? Because even apart from the young girls, there's the reverse. There's the Bentens, who the younger guys
Going for older women.
for older women. I think I'd want...
Or older women going for younger guys.
Yes, the Bentens.
Damn, why are you guys asking me this question, man?
Hey.
All right, so
Gotta
let me
be
let me
honest.
understand your question.
Yeah.
You want to hear my opinion? What specifically do you want to know about?
There's picture this. There's
Yeah.
a girl, a friend of Harriet somewhere,
Yeah,
who's been katiwad
by a Jama,
by a Jama who's older.
like my age.
Yeah. And they are pouring money, all that, and it's a shortcut to getting a life that, with social media, the pressure, all that.
Okay,
What would you say?
to that girl or to the guy or to the man?
Both
Both
of
of
them.
them.
Well, let me speak for the guy. Is this guy married?
The Mubaba.
The Mubaba. Or let me just.
For this context, let's say they're divorced.
Yeah,
They're
they're not
divorced,
married,
they're
yeah.
not
married.
But they probably have kids.
They're divorced, so okay. I think I'd speak to this guy and say, do you want this to last? Is your interest to last? What do you specifically want for these things? Do you want it to last? Because there is a young woman in her latter 20s, early 30s, who is looking for stability, who's looking to start a family. This is what she has dreamt. But maybe she's not in the place where those people can. And maybe she has a kid even.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And so when a chick comes, she's a baby mama itself. So that the chances of her be able to get that, her dream Prince Charming guy, ideal guy, it's different. Because as Jamazo here, there's a toy.
That means there's some man drama somewhere.
Yeah, there's another Jama there. Okay, so I'm even doing it that way.
Yeah.
I think the thing I'd ask that guy is, what's the future of this? Where is this headed? Okay, and if you have a future for this thing, answer that question honestly, or is this just a joyride?
A fling.
Okay, not just a fling, a joyride. Are you deriving benefit from this at the expense of you being able to do that? And why are you keeping this relationship? Because relationships work. Relationship is work.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you be able to do this? So that's what I'll go to that guy. To the lady, I think for me, the lady, I'll begin to, and I say this, Harriet, I'm
with a
walking on
heavy
eggshells on this way.
Yeah.
Is I can't say you define yourself by your relationship. But at that particular age, I think I get it. I think I understand what that woman is looking for. All right? And I'm not sure she'll find it
in
that. Okay? I'm not sure. The chances are you won't find it in that. I'm not saying you won't, but that there are very high chances you won't get it there. Okay? And that's a harsh reality, because he might be exactly what you want, he's giving you, but I'm not sure you'll find it where you are at. And whatever the motives are. But I think that is what I'd be able to say to her. I'm like, what do you want? I'm not sure you'll get it there, Harriet. I'm not sure you'll get it there.
Well, friends of Harriet.
Okay.
Friends
Friend of Harriet. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Friends of Harriet. Yes. Yeah. And I think that is a place you walk cautiously, because entering in that relationship begins to tie you down. And if you want to be covenanted with that person, you want to be able to do that. This is for life. Because if that Jama walks away, now you're twice scarred. Okay? And imagine if now you get pregnant and have a child. All right? Is that Mubaba going to be present for that child? If they were in for the joyride, and if they were really looking to be remarried, maybe that's a different question to answer. But for me, that's what I'd be able to ask. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is.
Actually, that's a good. Yes, what you're hearing is.
What I'm hearing is everyone is coming with their own motives.
Yes.
And if the motives are not aligned, either one is gonna be used, or someone is gonna get hurt, and they're not gonna get their valid needs met.
Absolutely.
And you're largely placing responsibility on the man.
Yes.
To have a better sense of direction for all this, because
so the power play in this is the Mubaba. So the Mubaba, by virtue of age also, is going to be the person who directs this particular thing. So the power play here is with that. So it's already uneven in itself. Okay. So is the Mubaba best interests both aligned them for your good or your friend Harriet's friend's good, and for this Mubaba. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that's sufficiently answered.
Good.
So I was unable to put in shallow things. Yeah. But let me now put one. What do you think is your best physical feature?
Nice one. Oh, dimples.
There's this. Actually, okay.
What would you have thought was his best feature?
Yes.
I thought you'd have gone with a beard. You'd say, oh, beard gang, nini. It's not everyone who
I'm a
can
bald gang.
You can't.
I'm a bald.
You can't. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Mi najaribu huku.
Struggling.
Can they?
What's her name? Is it Mamita?
Mamito.
Mamito, right? There's something she talked about
The
guys
other
like
day,
US,
yes.
about you guys.
Ati kama hauna
Kama
ndevu.
hauna ndevu, kama hauna ndevu, usikae hivyo. So yeah. So I think it's my dimples.
It is.
Yes.
You feel like it has scored you very many points, and this is
Where guitar failed.
how when
Where-
where
So
Dimples.
in my first 5 years, I was a kidogo chubby as a kid, yeah. And I lived with my aunt lived with me, so all her friends used to always come and pinch
Buju,
me.
buju.
Guju. I just used to run away from them.
yeah.
Yeah. But again, those are some of my To answer your question, dimples.
So what are you most what are you most afraid of? You're 51. Let's see what your fear now boils down to. And then are they different from when you were
Absolutely.
much younger?
Yeah. And let me state now, because that's what under the bridge, what has happened. I think for mine is a fear is that I'm going up the wrong path, and I will not. I'm saying it comes with time. Okay, am I on the right path, and I'm doing it, so I wouldn't necessarily waste my time. Okay. So that's I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying.
A bit.
All right. To say
Yeah.
you're walking up a path and you know you're going up a mountain, but there are very many mountains.
Yes.
So you climb all these things.
Hey.
And then you get to the
then
top
you get
and
to the top and you
You're on the
realize
wrong
I'm on the
mountain.
wrong mountain. It was on that one. I should have taken that route. That's one of my fears in itself. I'll be honest with you. Those are the things I don't want to, because I don't have time. Okay?
Correct.
Time is running out now for me. As I
Yeah.
said earlier, I have more time behind me than ahead of me in itself. Those are some of the fears that I have. Yeah.
Interesting.
Taking notes. Am I pursuing the right mountain?
Yeah. In this case, would you have what the mountain is
For you.
for you?
Let me just put it,
Yeah.
I'll know where I get there. But one thing I can tell you is how my values have and my choices have defined my path. So my convictions are, am I doing what I really need to be doing? Okay? And what is there's a thing I want to be able to do, what we've learned at my place of work is my 5%. You know, the things that I can do that nobody else can do.
Yeah.
Okay? That's another place to unpack. Okay? But if I'm doing what is core to me, then I should be happy and satisfied
be,
with that. Okay? So that's what so it's not the end destination, it's the now and what I'm experiencing. Okay? I don't know if we have.
No,
Yeah.
I do. Because I think many people would think of a goal as a very quote unquote tangible thing. Not to say it can't be tangible, but like you can see it inside. But I think what you're saying focuses more about the journey and how you travel through it. And at the end, you should be satisfied.
Yeah.
You should be.
I think we need to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Because that's the bigger
That's
part.
the bigger thing, because
Like
it is in the journey that you learn. The journey is the thing that forms you,
Yeah.
that builds your convictions. The end result, we can't predict what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? The
Yeah.
journey formulates you. The journey makes you who you are. The journey gives you a better understanding of who you're becoming. And I think that's what we need to be more aware. There are places where we say we need to know our purpose, we need to know our direction, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But we are so much
Invested.
invested in the future
Yeah.
and forgetting the now.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me give you an example. I had this conversation with a pal of mine, and she we were just talking, and her relative was in an accident, and I told her one of the things that we need to be able to appreciate is we are trusting God for the healing of this relative of yours. We are hoping that. So are you believing the God who can heal? Okay? Or are you believing the God right now where nothing is
looking like
it's going
it
to.
can work,
Okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
In as much as we believe in the God who can heal, there's greater demand on our belief and faith in the God of the now.
Yeah.
In that situation, can I praise God? Can I believe God right now? Or is God different then in the future,
The future and
than that?
the
And
now,
we
yeah.
live in the future. I think that is how we are being shaped to live in the future, which is not a bad thing, but we need to embrace the now.
We're forgetting the reality.
The reality is right now, right here.
What is, yeah.
What is here? This is what's more important right now.
Yeah.
All right?
The
I
next
am
breath.
hurting. I am hurting. So deal with the hurt. I've messed up, so I deal with the mess up. Things are not right, so we need to deal with the things that are not right. Those are the things that we need to be able to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe to follow up with that, on that, how do you think your faith in God has helped you maneuver purpose and all that and passions in the day to day? Because I remember when I was in Kinara or finishing, it was such a hard thing for me to perceive that if I'm leaving church, like I just couldn't feel like there was life after. I was feeling like I was feeling you guys, myself, but I felt like the conviction, and God maybe made it easier for me. Like, you know what, Harriet, you can serve me anywhere, but it took years for me to actually acknowledge and live in that.
accept
I remember
it.
we had that conversation with
Yes.
you, and to tell you, Harriet,
Yeah,
you are truly what we saw.
yeah,
Okay, then
yeah.
you just are realizing it in a different
Yeah.
different platform, different manner.
yeah,
We may have thought this is how you turn out, but I mean, look at you. Okay, look at
Thank
you
you.
now.
Hey,
Look at you. All right.
Thank you.
I'd like to say, and I don't want to use my faith
Yeah,
because that is cliche.
yeah,
My journey with Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Okay, and that's what I want to be able to do. Oh, and by the way, guys, I don't like being called a Christian. In fact, I am not a Christian.
Unpopular opinion.
No, I am not a
Controversies.
Christian.
No, it's
Guys,
Zimeshaanza.
I am not a Christian. In fact, I hate being called a Christian.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Your pastor has just declared.
Yeah. In fact, if I was to write memoirs, I would put it there.
And he was not a Christian.
No, even this one was. I have a book, and I talk about my life, memoirs about Gowi. How I stopped becoming a Christian and became a follower of Jesus Christ.
losing your religion.
Yes, how I lost my religion and became a follower of Jesus Christ. And let me explain to you this way. My journey with Jesus Christ has informed so many things. And guys, it's informed especially my mess ups. Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it is, I mean, Kimasha, you see my successes. Okay? You see, again, that is our people saying, it's time to. That's our, you'll be hearing that bell, Kidoko.
Close down.
Close down.
Close.
Yes.
Conclusion time.
In true pastor format.
Kabla nini hizo
Karibu
waanze kutuangalia vibaya hapa producer.
No, it's a timer, man. You know, yeah,
Yes.
cool. All right. So, but anyway, let's go on with this thing, and we go. My journey with Jesus Christ
Your successes, your
has informed more my failures and my mess ups than my successes.
How so?
Harriet, I don't think I would have known the man I am today if I did not learn from my mistakes or my messes. Let me tell you one of those things. I actually thought I was a good guy when I was getting married. I really thought I was a good guy.
You
I
are
really-
not shocked.
I really thought I was a good guy.
and in this what is a good guy?
A good guy. This is a guy who's present for his wife. You know, somebody who's
to
caring,
church.
goes to church. You know, a guy
Lead prayers
who
in your living
lead
room.
prayers. Yeah, things like that. And you're like,
What of those things did
I
you?
did that, but right down in me was a selfish SOB.
For those of you who do not know what an SOB
Just Google
is,
it,
just
right?
Google.
A
SOB.
selfish guy, and it was there, and woe ye to my wife, you know.
Poor chick. Sips cup.
We need to have Jennifer on one of these chairs soon.
So I've screwed up so much, and I'm like, she's still there, you know. So I'm learning what it means to be loved by my wife, and I've not been easy guy to love, but I thought I was lovable. I was like,
You were like,
"Oh,
you are it.
I'm it," you know.
10 over
And
10
so
minus 9.
marriage has really humbled me, man. Marriage has humbled me.
Ameshika kichwa. This is how bad it is.
And I'm learning humility. I'm learning how to be less condescending. I'm learning to be gentle. You know, me. I thought I was a gentle guy.
All these things you had.
I know. I
before.
thought, and that's there. It's showing me. It's showing me there, and I go to scripture, and scripture is like, yeah. And so my journey with Jesus Christ is showing me more about who I am not, or who I have covered. And so when you ask me faith, I want to move away from faith and say, how has my journey with Jesus made me the man that I am today?
Yeah.
And Kimasha, I remember when you were at my house last and we were talking.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things you had in your eyebrows were like this. You're like,
Yeah.
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 But I was sharing with you some of my struggles. Okay, I was sharing with you some of my struggles, and those struggles, in many ways, are who I am today. That's what has made me today.
Yeah.
So I think those are things we need to be able to embrace. And so, to answer your question, my journey with Jesus has been difficult, because it's not easy to accept, you know, that I'm a screw up,
person.
an SOB. Because if I hold my life to the plumb line of scripture, it shows that I got work to do, man. I got a lot of work to do. All right. And when I open my Bible like this, and if my Bible shows me this, because my Bible is always showing me how flawed I am. But my experience with Jesus Christ, it says, my grace is sufficient. When you're weak, I'll be, you're strong. And so so that's what I want to continue to learn, to walk in the grace of God in the now. Because perfection is it's a journey ahead that when you feel ati umefika, there's still much, much more ahead of you.
You know, you said that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to how old you are.
Yeah.
You said it at 51.
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself at 32. And what you're basically saying?
Are you living
Check,
it?
look at Manasseh. Look at what he's doing.
Manasseh is running
He's
out of
walking
the
away.
Life is not about to be easier. There's more revelation to how
terrible.
flawed
It's actually going to get worse.
Because you're going to have someone mirroring everything now.
It's actually going to get worse. Let me tell you
Okay.
how, okay?
quite encouraging.
And let me tell you, okay? Do you ever think that your parents are going to die?
Huh?
Do you ever think? Do you ever imagine? I buried my father. Do you know how messed up that is? Do you know how messed up that is? You know, this is somebody you admire, you hold in high esteem, and the guy's no more. You see him age to become that old man. That's not an easy sight to be. You know, you're like that. You're that guy. You know, it doesn't. I mean, that's the thing. Okay, it gets harder. It gets harder, but that's the reality of life. Nobody's gonna tell you that, dog.
You
Yeah.
know, you literally cannot stand on a pulpit and say that.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
All right, and here's the thing. You guys, you see me with my children. Ah, they look so. It's hard work raising children. It's hard work. It's like pulling teeth, man. And this is why it's hard. Because you see your flaws in them. And you're like, you're not going to turn out like that. Okay? And so you want to teach your children and bring out the best in them. But guys, it's hard work. It's hard work. It's going to get harder for you.
Hi.
So encouraged.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, here's another hard thing, okay?
Oh, wow.
You have more.
Yeah. So you reach here, and then you see your peers who have accomplished much more than you have, and you actually see a road you could have taken to get
to
there,
the same-
and you didn't take that road because of a fear or a circumstance, legit or not, okay? Understandable or not.
They may have
but you're
done
there.
illegal stuff.
Oh, yeah,
or
but
legal
then-
stuff.
And
Yeah,
not even
in there.
that. You would have just decided to take that thing, but then they took that route. And they're there where you have imagined to be. And now uko hapa.
Hii side ingine.
Hii side ingine.
Ukiwaangalia hapo juu.
Anaona. And you're like, I wish.
So in that statement, you're saying peer pressure,
Does not end.
it does not end when you're young.
it
It
doesn't.
gets even worse.
It doesn't.
Worse.
Here's some questions.
Worse.
Ati wasa. Here's some questions my peers ask. So where does your child go to school? They're not asking
To
out
know-
of the to
Ati-
know
ati, oh,
my
are they
child
getting a
going
good
to my,
education?
yes, my child is at Starehe, at Alliance, at V Nairobi School,
Oh my God.
They just want to know where you are at. They're trying to gauge. It's there.
Aoneka huyu, are we on the
At
same?
this age, we're doing reunions. At reunions, it's a place to measure up.
It's what car you show up with.
Yes, hii kitambi is it bigger than others?
Oh,
Yeah, peer pressure doesn't end, man. It doesn't. It just shows up differently. And if you can own up to those insecurities, these are different. That's why I'm telling you, at this age, I don't know why those were such issues for me back in the day. These are some of the things that liberated, and it's hard. You guys,
you're
I
even
can
saying
tell
the
you.
regret hits harder.
Yes, because time is out. And here's the thing about social media,
Oh, yeah.
which is for you guys.
Yeah.
And guys who are younger than you. This is your gauge, man. You kila mtu ako hivi. And so for that,
And those dances.
all those whatever
TikTok
challenges
dances.
and all that. And so it's shaping how you think and how others perceive you. Okay? So it's a generation that is so much defined by the context, how the context perceives you. Yet at the end of the day, you have things that you don't want. You do things that you don't want or don't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
impress people you don't know or who don't care.
Who don't
Jack.
even matter, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to find a 50-year-old woman who's living the life I want to and ask them,
Look,
what did you do at that?
Here's the thing you can ask that 50-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Okay? Can I do this?
Yes, please.
Are you being sexually fulfilled in your marriage?
Eh? How is that a potent question?
It's an
Important.
important question. Okay?
Yeah.
Because sex is a gauge. I said, are you really getting sexually fulfilled in your marriage? Is that intimacy there? Because we'll know with the mubabas. If they're not, watacheza nje,
Kuna-
away
yeah,
games. But for the women, are you feeling it? So if you're going to ask yourself that question, ask that lady that. She's really going to be, if you're genuinely going to ask her that question,
Yeah.
and if you're not, how are you bridging that gap? How are you I mean, what are
what's
the
your coping
coping
mechanism
mechanisms in that?
around?
If any.
In that,
Yeah.
okay?
Or are you just frustrated?
Or you just some
Yeah.
You
frustrated.
give up.
Yeah, or you give up, and you are going to invest in your children, invest in them.
You've
but you've left it.
replaced it with
Yes, you've
other
replaced it with some other
distractions.
things.
Yeah.
But those are important questions that you need to be able to ask. Those are real questions you need to be able to ask. If that is an older woman you admire and looking up to, and I kid you not, I bet you won't get an honest answer.
Okay.
Actually, if there's someone out there who has this,
If you're a
This
50-year-old woman
Yeah.
or know a 50-year-old woman, we can ask this to please link us up.
link us
But
up,
that's
or even
very
if
sobering.
you're brave enough to, first you're very brave
To even
just
bring
comment on such.
How is that? No, but this is a reality.
It is, and imagine
50-year-olds have sex.
These are
Oh,
But you don't think we don't have sex?
They do? Wow. You're not too old, man.
hey. But yeah, imagine,
You should see your faces.
but the reality is that I'm not thinking about that, and I'm not
At
even.
all.
That's not even and that is a reality.
Does sex get old at 50 years old? You've been married for 15, 20 years. Does it get old at that point? What do you do to continue doing that? Those are realities.
Or even like intimacy as a measure of fulfillment. later on
Exactly.
in life.
Actually, you've captured it.
By
Kabisa. Yeah. You've just got it
by
there.
the
Yes. They've grabbed that at the horn. What does intimacy look like, and how do you work towards it in itself? These are real questions that you people ask, and those are things that I am struggling with at this point.
Okay. Good to know.
The reality of being here. That's what hanging out with Gowi is. And to go back to you is, again, hold this to the plumb line of scripture and say, it's not about faith. Because faith is a cop-out for me. It's like, what has your journey with Jesus, how is your journey with Jesus informing that? How is it informing intimacy in your marriage? How is it informing burying a parent? How does it influence? How does your journey with Jesus? What is speaking to your insecurity with your peers?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
How are you handling this pressure?
How are you handling it? And what's Jesus showing you in that? Yeah, guys. We can go on and on and on.
We really can.
You see, even me, I want to leave.
You're ready to leave.
But you've been listening to this podcast, Uncle Gowi, and talking about issues, everyday issues that you're not going to have in church, but you need to have them. I think it's you. I'm not sure if it's you, Kimasha, it is our sound guy, Manasseh, who said 25. It's you, Manasseh. Yeah, it's you who said that. 25 questions every Christian would not like to be asked. This is the place, Kawana, go. You can have that. Okay.
Yes.
So guys, hit me. I can't say I'll have the answers, but this is a place where we can have those discussions and hopefully point you to the truth, which is Scripture, where I think all truth will be made known to us. Thank you, Wamwere Kimasha, the talent.
That's gonna stick.
Harriet Dodea, the gorgeous, beautiful, brilliant young lady.
I love
and to you, remember to subscribe. I can't believe I'm still saying that. Subscribe.
Like,
And just so you
share,
know,
comment.
there's gonna be a part 2 to this because
You think there has to be a part 2?
Yeah,
2
I'm not
and
done.
3 and 4.
Yeah,
Regrets.
I'm not done.
Pet
Yes.
peeves.
We're about
Intimacy.
Yes.
Ah,
Me too time.
The 2 time.
Yeah.
We've just been.
But yes, subscribe.
I can't believe I'm saying subscribe.
Share.
Thank you, guys. God bless you. And share this. Tell a friend to tell a friend. God bless you guys. Peace. We're out.
We're up.
Over.